Hey guys, welcome to another little video. And in this video, I want to go over the balance manifesto that GGG just released for the upcoming 3.14 league and give you my thoughts and plans for this future league. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay, this is standard intro, we don't care about that. So balance changes related to the new life costing skills. Low life, low mana, and low energy skill now all count as being 50% or below. So yeah, when this is like for the, like it says for the low mana, low life things, it doesn't really matter. This is new threshold a bit is both a bit more obvious at a glance, and then there's a large enough value that players could survive for a long time on low life with the help of the new petrified blood skill. So they're rebalancing it for the new gems, obviously. As a result, certain skills, passives, and items have been rebalanced to compensate. We'll just have to wait and see how these have changed, so nothing we can do there. For example, the punishment curse effect that causes enemies to take more damage while on low life has been reduced in power. I don't know why they did that, as it now takes the effect of a larger portion of the monster's life. With similar changes to assassins, ambush and assassinate ascendancy, passive infernal mantle, and replica last resort. I don't even know what that is. The blood magic support gems have been split into 2 gems, as the lack of damage multiplier made it a poor choice of primary skills. Now each of these supports is balanced for the appropriate use case. I mean, again, we're just gonna have to wait and see what exactly they are. This is like changes to corrupted blood now never counts as bleeding, so they changed the staunching flask and the pathfinder ascendancy to now specify that it boosts bleeding and corrupted blood. So I think like you probably want a corrupted blood jewel even more this league, right? If you want to get rid of the flask thing, I don't know, we'll see. Bladestone now has a multiplier to bleeding damage while in blood stance, very good. Similar to the multiplier on lacerate, very good. To enable bleeding builds on the blood theme skill, very good. I like this change. This is a good change. But moving here, the Elder Influence weapon modifiers, they grant a chance for poison or bleeding to inflicted with this weapon to deal 100% more damage has been removed. That's bad. That's so bad. In their place, Elder Influence weapons can now roll a local poison or bleeding damage over time multiplier. Yeah. The double damage chance modifiers were too multiplicatively powerful for these builds, providing power that only modifier granted. So they've been changed, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is a huge nerf to bleed builds, like huge nerf. I necessarily don't agree with this. There could have been other ways to circumvent this without completely removing the mod. You can still make a bleed build starter because you could still get to semi-end game without this mod, right? So you can get like to tier 14, 13 maps without having this mod because it was item level 83 Elder anyway, so yeah, I don't like this change. We're just gonna have to see how the new mods actually affect what are the numbers of the multiplier and if it's gonna be worth it, but you can still play bleed builds as a starter and poisons also. The way skills costs have been refactored, so basically this is all a nerf to like Kane's build, basically. If you were planning to start that, this you better know it's like really nerf now. So okay, so let's jump into the Atlas passives. This is like mine skills. I don't play mine, so I don't have an opinion about this. All I know is that it's really affecting Kane's build, so that's gonna be really nerfed this league. So yeah, Atlas passive balance. Certain modifiers provided more rewards than the average rewards granted by the Atlas passives. So have had their chance on rewards lowered. Okay. Some are obvious one, like high value targets, a diplomatic escort. High value targets, I don't remember what that does. While others are subtle like seance. Well, I don't think I use that. Yeah, whatever. Certain modifiers provide fewer rewards than the standard of reward increases per point invested, so have had their chance of rewards increased. For example, the reward from the invasive exotic goods notable has been improved. Is that a Kadiro thing? I think that's a Kadiro thing, right? That he sells like the best items? Probably. Okay, so they rebalanced a little bit the Atlas tree. They moved some nodes here and there. Short and sweet, probably they nerfed Lexajoris and they nerfed Glenacairns. Okay. Ritual has been added to Hamlet. Cool. Var skills. I don't care about Var skills. If you want to read it, please do so, because I have no idea about how Var skills work. I just use it when they're up. Okay. We made balance passes on a large variety of skills that are performing above acceptable power levels, either through damage, speed, or clearing content or defensive benefits. These include Blade Vortex, Blade Blast, Toxic Rain, General's Cry with channel skills, Seismic Cry, Carrion Golems, and Vitality. Okay, so funny thing is that I was actually thinking about making a bleed build as a league starter, but not anymore with that. I was also thinking about making a Toxic Rain league starter, not anymore. The good thing is that they don't say anything about burning damage, right? So probably a burning arrow elementalist could still be viable. We have to wait for the patch notes to see the real numbers and to see the change to the skill tree and stuff. And we're gonna just go from there, okay? So for the builds, we're gonna have to wait for patch notes. Okay, so Frostbomb and Wave of Conviction have had their exposure values lowered, as these skills provided too large elemental resistance reduction compared to other mechanics that have higher investment or penalties against bosses. I mean, they're still the two best skills to apply exposure with, so even if they're nerfed, you're still gonna use them, but it's gonna be like a slight decrease of damage or benefits from using them, but you're still gonna use them. So Flesh and Stone now has a 35% mana resistance from 25. Was it really needed? I mean, sure, it was good, but increasing its mana reservation by 10%? We'll have to see. The defensive power of the skill in Sextants and the offensive power in Bloodstained was too high relative to other reservation effects, such as nothing comes to mind. We've added a small reduction to stance skills reservation costs on the blood and stance specialization cluster near the duelist to bring the cost down slightly for appropriate builds. So if you want to really use this, then you path down to the duelist, take the little node, the 3-noder, or anointed maybe. We'll see. Vigilant Strike and the Stressful Rule of Vigil have changed how they handle fortified duration on the duration granted. I never played with this, so I really don't know how is it before. So that the vigil doesn't result in a very long duration of fortified. In fact, I think it was like 30 seconds, isn't it? Instead, granting a shorter fortified duration than a high level Vigilant Strike. Vigilant Strike based fortified duration now scales with the gem level rather than through an increased fortified duration stat. Previously, players could gain 30 seconds. Oh yeah, so it was 30 seconds. Could gain 30 seconds of fortify from 2 sockets in a single jewel, which was far too cheap for the defensive power offered. I can see the hardcore boys in shambles. Divergent Berserk alternate quality now grants the Berserk buff 0.25 more spell damage per quality from 1%. That's huge. That's like huge. 60% nerf? Holy fuck. The effect was proving too much damage for spellcasters when paired with effects that increase the gem's quality, such as enhanced support. Basically they kind of gutted it. I think this is like F. Yeah. General balance changes. It's all nerfs. Nice. Spoiler. Quivers as caster offhands. Critical strike, chance critical multiplier, damage over time multiplier, and chain modifiers on quivers now only apply to attacks or bow skills. Okay, this is huge because a lot of people were using bows and quivers for spells such as BV, ED, stuff like that. And they were getting that huge multiplier bonus from them. So now that's done. That's over with, basically. The Signal Fire and Regular Squill unique quivers have also had their physical damage added as fire, and projectiles for modifiers changed to be with attacks only. So Signal Fire was everybody using it for the Fire BV. It's probably not gonna be used anymore, but we'll have to see what the meta does. If you were playing Fire BV, I mean, it's probably hit you a little bit, but I wasn't, so. Bows with a quiver could outclass many caster weapons for a variety of builds, so this change brings total offensive power to a more reasonable balance without removing the option entirely, and also makes a lot more thematic sense. Kinda agree. I kinda agree. Physical explosion, body armors. Oh boy. Influence and synthesize modifiers that cause enemies killed to explode, dealing physical damage, will no longer have a 100% chance to apply. The replacement modifiers grant enemies you kill have a chance to explode, dealing a 10th of their life as physical damage, with a new lower tier influence mod being introduced that has a lower chance. Okay. The thing is about this that people are gonna scale maps with so many monsters that even if it has a chance to trigger, it's still gonna probably chain like 80% of those monsters. Like, have you seen any streamers who do Giga Juice maps like Q-Dog? The monster density in their maps is absolutely insane, right? And with such a high density, the chance of something exploding is pretty high, and the chance of that chaining is also pretty high. So I think it's still gonna be used. People are still gonna use this 100% if they get the chance, and if they use a build that uses this kind of stuff, they are gonna go for this mod 100%. So it's kind of like a slight nerf, but it's still gonna be used, right? You know what I mean? Okay, harvest monster life. The base life of all harvest monsters has been reduced by 30 to 50%. I mean, it's like whatever. But harvest machinery gives monsters around 100% extra increased life on average. Okay. The intention is no difficulty change in harvest fights, but harvest monsters created with the desecrate skill have life values more in line with other desecrated monsters in the game. So basically they nerf, this is a DD nerf. So just the corpse explosion builds getting significant damage boost from having yeah. So this is basically a target to the dead that people were playing. Hexproof. Modifiers that allow your hexes to affect hexproof enemies such as cosplays or unique body armor no longer allows your hexes to affect yourself while you have hexproof. I never use that body armor. Poison Sextants. Oh, this was about time. The Sextants modifier which grants players increased damage and movement speed for each poison on them has been removed. So they removed it completely. In case you didn't know, Poison Sextants, people use them as league starters, like Poison BV, and they will get just huge damage, huge movement speed, and just clear maps in like a minute or two, right? Because they were so fast and the damage was so high. So this has been completely removed, so move on. No, to partially compensate, we believe that self-poison is an interesting playstyle. We have added a new unique item that retains the damage and movement speed per poison stat. However, the stats will now be capped at a specific value. So, unless you have this unique, and probably you won't want it because it's probably gonna be some item socket that you really need for your build. So, fracture forces and beast splitting. Okay, this I like. Okay, I agree with this. Splitting an item through beast crafting now applies a split tag to both items similar to mirrored. Items that have fracture fossils used on them also gain the split tag. Split items cannot be split again. And that puts an end to the people who were just sitting in their bestiary and splitting items to oblivion and beyond. I completely agree with this. This was completely broken. I don't know why it took them so long to do this. The biggest effect that this will have in the new league is gonna be the six white socket bases. But my question is, do you really want 6 sockets on every single body armor? Like, why do you want a tabula for everything? I get it, it's you run like an int build and you want to use a astral plate for the 36 resist, but I don't know. I agree with this. 100%. It's sure it's gonna affect the economy a little bit, but I think the benefits are still good. Atlas mission sustain. We've removed the bonus missions chance from awakening objective bonuses. As Atlas passives combined with the bonus, so other mechanics were resulting in an almost endless supply of missions. What was the bad thing about that? We have decided to keep the Atlas passive at full strength and remove the awakening objective bonus, so that the player has the chance to invest more Atlas missions if they desire. I don't really agree with this. I mean, what was so bad about having endless missions? It was so much fun. I mean, we'll have to see. I don't think it's like that big of a change, but it is a change. Delirium item quantity and rarity. We've lowered and standardized the amount of item quantity and rarity granted by Delirium Fog. Good. So they now give the double. So they now give up to double the inbuilt item rarity of monsters and up to 50% the item quantity of monsters. This now caps the maximum death rather than the 50% death as previously in the case. Good. Like, Delirium is so overpowered. Delirium is the solution to everything, you know. Like, if you wanna do 100% Delirious, that was the best way to make money. It's probably still gonna be the best way to make money, let's be real. It's a nerf, a slight nerf. It's welcomed in my opinion. I think it was a long time coming because, as you know, like, if you just YouTube for 3.14, most of the videos will be how to do 100% delirious, you know. So yeah, it's a good change. I completely agree because I hate delirium. I played it so much in the last league that I started to have PTSD from seeing the delirium mirror. Okay, passive tree changes. We are worried about the accessible normal scar state, such as area effect, skill effect duration, aura effect, and projectile speed, are on cluster jewel notables. Given you stack multiple of the same notable on the passive tree, as a result, we have made small numeric nerfs to several cluster jewel notables. Yikes. Yikes. Okay. As a relative minor ascendancy change, Pain Reaver has been replaced with a new passive skill on the Berserker, providing defensive benefits once you lose life from an enemy hit. So, okay, so the Berserker is getting a defense buff. It is designed as a high-risk defensive recovery mechanic, granting the faster leech rate from Pain Reaver more easily, but with a associated risk. The effects of Berserker Flower Savagery notable are no longer limited to attacks. Okay. And the small passives apply 10% increased physical damage instead of the old 12% increased physical damage or attacks. So that's 10% global physical damage. Yeah, pretty good. The Immortal Ambition Keystone's Life Leech affects recover energy shield instead of life, maximum total energy shield recovery from leech instead of by maximum total life recovery from leech. Combined with the corrupted soul keystone and the powerful recovery source of life leech, it provided 2 grade increase to a character's combined recovery. Okay, so a bit of a nerf there to Immortal Ambition. Corrupted Soul Keystone now causes you to gain 50% of maximum life as extra maximum energy shield from 20. Aw, that sucks. I like this. I really like this thing when I used to make builds around it. As mentioned above, the Chainbreaker Keystone no longer causes you to lose 5 rage when you hit an enemy, but now instead has skills cost plus 3 rage. The Keystone allowed certain skills that either didn't hit, such as Bane, or skills that didn't count as use, such as totems and mines, to completely bypass the downside. So this is another nerf to Chainbreaker. I mean, plus 3 rage. Is it a big deal? Oh, you guys tell me. Okay, Hardened Scars no longer grants Fortify. Instead now Fortify Recovery. Yeah. Necromancer got a slight nerf. Consuming Corpse lower from 8% to 4%. The mana regeneration. That's fine. Primal Edges from the Elemental's Bastion of Elements skill now takes 75% damage per allocated another passive from 100. It's not a huge nerf, but it's still a nerf. We're gonna get a lot less shield now. So yeah, we're just gonna have to play around that. But yeah, my thoughts on this is that some are completely overkill, like the bleed thing, the Elder mod bleed and poison stuff. I think that's completely overkill. That was not necessary. Some things that I agree with is the Explodey chest. I agree with the poison sextants, the fracture fossil, all of this. I completely agree. I don't agree with the mission sustain, but it's still gonna be 100% playable, and it's still gonna be 100% pretty fun league, I think. I'm happy that they didn't touch any ignite or burn, so ignite builds should still be viable if bleeds are not. But yeah, for the builds, I was thinking Toxic Rain, which I'm not now a bit hesitant until I see the patch notes. I was thinking Bleed Bow Gladiator, which I'm now a little bit more hesitant until I see the patch notes. And I was thinking Burning Arrow Elementalist, which I'm more keen now, considering that they didn't touch any ignite or stuff like that. But yeah, that will be it for me for today for this video. I want to know what you guys think about this manifesto. Do you agree with the nerfs? Do you are in uproar? Do you completely disagree? Let me know your thoughts. When the league launches, I will be streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dante00151. You can join the Discord, which will be down in the description. You have a little chat over there. Let me know your starter builds, what you want to know, and stuff like that. Yeah. Thank you guys for chilling and watching, and I'll see you when the patch notes hit.